They say pure water can cleanse anything, but they never tell you the reverse is also true. That a single drop of poison can corrupt an entire well. And the most terrifying truth of all? That poison doesn't just destroy the pure. It actively seeks it out. It is drawn to the cleanest intention, the most sincere effort, the most genuine heart, because that is the ingredient it needs to legitimize its own destruction. This is the silent law of toxic environments. They don't just hinder growth, they pervert it. They take your best self and use it as fuel for your own demise. I built an altar to discipline in a house of chaos. I was the first to arrive and the last to leave, believing my dedication was a flame that could burn away the dysfunction around me. My intention was pure: to create, to contribute, to build something of substance. But the environment was a slow, invisible gas, the constant undertone of cynicism, the reward for short-term thinking over depth, the quiet punishment for trusting too openly. I didn't notice the change at first. It was so subtle. My pure intention to do meaningful work began to twist. It became a desperate need for external validation from a system that valued none. My sincere effort became a compulsive overwork, not for the sake of the work, but to numb the creeping feeling that it was all for nothing. My genuine heart began to construct a shell, not to protect itself, but to mimic the hardness it saw around it, thinking that was strength. My purity didn't save me. It became the very thing that was polluted. The environment took the gold of my intention and transmuted it into lead in my soul. I was using my best energy to build a prison I was told was a palace. The breaking wasn't a dramatic explosion. It was the quiet sound of a single thought, arriving after years of weariness. He no longer recognized the person doing this work. The reflection in the glass was a stranger operating my body, mimicking my old dreams but with hollow eyes. The philosophy of my life had been written by a context I never chose. I was living a reaction, not a life. That is the deepest suffering of a toxic environment. It doesn't just steal your joy, it hijacks your identity. It makes you an accomplice in your own unraveling. You pour your pure water into a polluted river and then blame yourself when you cannot drink from it. The change, the one change, never feels like a victory when it begins. It feels like a death, because it is. It is the death of the version of you that agreed to live by those polluted rules. It starts as a single, irreversible refusal, not a loud protest, but a quiet internal severing. You stop explaining your heart to people who specialize in misunderstanding. You cease feeding your dreams into a machine designed to grind them down. You withdraw the permission you never gave, for your spirit to be used as a currency in a bankrupt economy. This is patience without weakness. It is the patient, agonizing work of letting one version of yourself crumble so another can breathe. You sit in the ashes of your own burned bridges and realize, for the first time, you can see the sky. Rebirth is not a fantasy of a new you. It is the slow, meticulous realignment with the old you, the original you before the pollution set in. It is scraping the residue of that environment off your purest intentions. You rediscover that your desire to create wasn't the problem. The stage you were forced to perform on was. Your capacity to trust wasn't naive. The hands you placed it in were. The one change is the fundamental shift from asking I. How do I succeed here, Ian? What is Haupere doing to me? It is the realization that no amount of personal purity can filter a poisoned atmosphere. You must step out of the fog to breathe clean air. So you build a new environment, one molecule at a time. You build it with the books you read, the silence you keep, the conversations you choose, the boundaries you draw like gentle, unshakable fences around your spirit. You build it not with rage against the old place, but with a tender reverence for the fragile, pure thing inside you that somehow survived. You water it with actions that feel true, not just strategic. You protect it with a quiet fierceness you never knew you had. This is your one change. The change from being a product of your environment to being the architect of it. The world will try to pollute you. It will send its currents of cynicism, its storms of haste, its slow drips of compromise. Your task is no longer to withstand them. Your task is to decide daily what you will allow to take root in the soil of your life. Keep going. Keep building. One pure, defiant brick at a time. Your environment waits for your command. Whisper it now.